In an era where technological advancements seem to know no bounds, one aspect of human exploration has captured the world's imagination like never before: space exploration, arguably the last frontier. Truth be told, space exploration is still a relatively new venture, as even the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, established for this very reason, has only accomplished a few successful trips to the moon and beyond. It is no surprise, in the spirit of pushing our technological and physical boundaries, that interstellar voyages for everyday civilians is finally becoming a reality. As to be expected, space exploration carries a hefty price tag that most can't afford at the moment, and has conditional prerequisites for civilians to even begin to qualify for the experience. A massive amount of research, trials and trainings has already been implemented, as well as the development of cutting-edge reusable technology, including rockets, advanced life support systems, food and service facilities, and, of course, the actual launching and monitoring of the operations, both terrestrial-based and spacebound. Up until this point, government and private corporate sectors have been mostly at the helm of these space expeditions, due to stringent safety protocols and exorbitant launch and maintenance costs. This leaves the general public out of reach of these opportunities, being only really accessible to multi-millionaire and billionaires that can qualify for the physical journey. However, since the first space tourist braved the voyage to the cosmos in 2001, there have been plans to make space travel more affordable and accessible to the everyday citizen. This would serve many purposes, as corporate commercial companies would be able to balance their hefty budgets by including the general populace as clientele, and curate a safe and incredible intergalactic experience that didn't involve research or testing as a parameter. While it would seem amazing to float in orbit on a spacecraft and observe the planet and cosmos from your window, the plans being set in motion are to include far more than that. How would you like to dock your craft with a space station and live out in the stars for a while? People will actually be able to live on a space station or a specialty space hotel for up to 30 days. This means they will also be trained for emergency situations aboard the stations and trained to operate in zero-gravity environments. That's a lot of bang for your intergalactic buck. Currently, a few select companies have begun to build sites for launching space expeditions. These companies have also developed training programs for public citizens designing space travel so they can pass all the rigorous physical and psychological safety tests. They are even taking reservations for these voyages at this point, and the waiting lists are already long and extensive. The companies at the forefront of space tourism, such as SpaceX, Blue Origin, and Virgin Galactic, have made significant strides in developing spacecrafts that not only ensure safety and reliability, but also provide an extraordinary experience for the passengers. Of all these companies, Virgin Galactic, owned by Virgin Atlantic owner Richard Branson, is the one that might be best suited for the average citizen. Virgin Galactic spaceships are being modeled after the first private venture spacecraft, Spaceship One, developed by Mojave Aerospace Ventures. Boarding and traveling on Spaceship One is projected to be relatively affordable. The word relatively is appropriate here, as space travel will never be a cheap expense considering the costs involved, but Branson indicates that the plans are for it to be as affordable for citizens as space travel can be. It's impossible to talk about space exploration without including Elon Musk and his company SpaceX in the conversation. Not only is SpaceX one of the companies that has revolutionized the space travel industry, it has already successfully launched missions that have taken everyday citizens into space. In 2021, SpaceX carried out Inspiration 4, which saw members of the general public transported into space. A few lucky citizens got to spend their days circling the Earth in orbit in Musk's SpaceX craft.
It was only about 12 minutes. So before we knew it, we were hanging our straps and floating, and then we were like, what do we do next?
No longer does one have to train and become an astronaut to experience the cosmos safely. With the success of the Inspiration 4 mission, Musk and SpaceX has revealed plans for a second expedition this upcoming year, codenamed Dear Moon. Another company making waves and progress on the space exploration frontier is Blue Origin. Founded by Amazon's creator billionaire Jeff Bezos, Blue Origin has been making significant strides in curating a space exploration experience for everyday citizens. Blue Origin has successfully flown 15 missions to space with its proprietary spacecraft and is set to fly a landmark mission with astronauts on board for the first time on July 20th of this year. Meanwhile, Blue Origin's new Shepard spacecraft, aptly named after Mercury astronaut Alan Shepard, the first American to go to space, has been taking astronauts past the Kármán line, the internationally recognized boundary of space. They have been accomplishing this feat in 11 minutes, using a reusable suborbital rocket system designed to take astronauts and research payloads. The International Space Station, ISS, is the largest modular space station in low Earth orbit. The project, costing an astounding $150 billion, involves 5 space agencies: the United States NASA, Russia's Roscosmos, Japan's JAXA, Europe's ESA, and Canada's CSA. The ownership and the use of the space station is established by intergovernmental treaties and agreements. The ISS has been welcoming amateur astronauts aboard its facilities for a while now, using SpaceX's Crew Dragon craft to shuttle them in. The ISS has played a pivotal role in changing the landscape for civilian space exploration. The ISS first announced its plan to allow 2 approved tourists or private astronauts per year access to its facilities for $35,000 per night. These private astronauts would have access for up to 30 days, which NASA hopes will allow them to conduct approved commercial and marketing activities. These costs do not include launch, travel, and re-entry costs, so it is not exactly cost-accessible to the average citizen. These new changes in accessibility to the public, however, could be catalysts that create the need for more affordable space travel, which companies like Virgin Galactic and SpaceX are more than happy to try and provide. To ensure the safety, comfort, and enjoyment of space tourists, space exploration companies have pushed the boundaries of life support technology and inhabitable spacecraft design. Advanced systems, including advanced life support machines, communication, and navigation, are integrated into the system to guarantee a smooth and secure journey. The spacecrafts themselves are being designed to make them optimal for in-flight sightseeing. They will have comfortable seating and most likely have large windows for breathtaking views. Now, while the prospect of space travel captures our imagination, living on space stations, even just for a few days, takes the concept even further. Companies like Axiom Space are actively working towards attaching modules to the International Space Station, offering private accommodations and research facilities. Orbital Assembly is also getting in on the action with its Voyager station. This station is set to begin construction in 2026 and be ready to welcome guests by 2030. Even closer to date is the company's plan to establish a space-based business park. Orbital Assembly is calling this park Pioneer Station and has said that it should be fully operational in 2025, which, for context, is just 2 years away. The implication here is that by 2025, space travel and exploration would be commonplace enough that there would be enough people to visit and make use of a business park. It's crazy to think that by the end of this decade, space travel might actually be a concrete reality for regular people. However, it is essential to acknowledge that space travel for civilians requires extensive preparation and adherence to strict safety requirements. Potential space tourists will have to undergo through physical and psychological assessments to ensure their ability to withstand the demands of space travel. There are actually very specific criteria for physical fitness in place already to qualify for space travel. For one, you need to be 18 years or older, and you cannot be shorter than 160 centimeters, which is 5'3", or taller than 185 centimeters, 6'1". As for weight, you need to be between 50 kilos, 110 pounds, and 95 kilos, 209 pounds. Despite these regulations for private citizens seeming to be strict and stringent for physical and mental requirements to travel, the rules for private space tourists, as opposed to actual astronauts, are actually not as extensive and intense. Considering that this type of travel for citizens is a new frontier, one can expect the rules to change and evolve as more progress is made. Zero-gravity training programs and space training via simulators are already in place all over the globe to familiarize individuals with space station protocols and emergency situations. This is so that civilians may travel safely and be able to handle whatever scenarios that may arise during their journeys. Russia has the Cosmonauts training program, which lasts for just 8 days, but covers everything you would likely experience in space travel, including emergency procedures, space adaptation, and the use of specialized equipment. With gravity significantly reduced in space, simple tasks like eating or even going to the bathroom would seem like completely new experiences, so familiarity with weightlessness is a priority. Private astronauts must be able to carry out tasks in zero gravity without panic or frustration before being approved for space travel. The advent of space vacations and travel for civilians signifies a monumental achievement for our civilization. It showcases the remarkable progress we have made in space exploration and our ability to make once unattainable dreams a reality. While the cost remains a significant barrier, the fact that private citizens can venture into space, witness the beauty of our planet, and even reside on space stations and space hotels highlights the extraordinary advancements we have achieved as a species. As technology continues to evolve, it is not inconceivable that space travel will become more accessible in the future, allowing more individuals to embark on their own cosmic adventures and further expand our understanding of the universe. What are your thoughts on taking a space vacation? Please leave a comment below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for new and exciting content. See you next time.